The 2023 Disneyland Paris Food and Wine Festival, the Rendez-vous Gourmand, has opened at the Walt Disney Studios Park. We'll give you the full rundown of the festival, including all the booths, menus, this year's changes, what we tried, along with our top tips and tricks to get the most from the festival. Let's go. Hi everyone, it's Adam from Disney. We've just come back from the opening of the festival and we have tons to tell you. The Rendez-vous Gourmand is the biggest of the Disneyland Paris food festivals. This year it started on the 2nd of June, and although no end date's been confirmed, we're expecting it to go on until around mid-October. After that, they're going to switch things up for the Christmas season, which we'll be covering in a future video. If you enjoy Epcot and their food and wine festival, this is a really similar concept. It's a little smaller, but it offers a great range of delicious snacks and drinks at a really fair price point. This year there are 12 food booths, and these are placed around the Disneyland Studios Park and are broadly split into two areas: France and the French regions, which are near the Remy ride, and the rest of Europe, including Asia, Greece, Italy, Belgium and Spain. Let's take a look at the French booths first, covering what's changed from 2022, what's new and anything that's not come back from last year. First up is a returning booth, Region Alsace. Not much has changed in this booth from last year, apart from losing the apple tart, which seems to have been replaced with the cheese pretzel, which is really good and well worth a try. Not just in this booth, but it's really pleasing to see that for most of the booths this year, the prices have remained pretty flat, with only the odd item going up €1 in price. Next up is the Summer Bistro, or the Bistrot De L'ete. This is another returning booth from 2022, selling cones of cured meats, cheeses and a great selection of wines and beers. This is also the cheapest place that we found champagne available in the parks at €10 for a glass, though worth knowing it doesn't come in any kind of souvenir cup. Next up is the Bretagne booth. This is another great returning booth and one of our absolute favourites. This serves a wide variety of galettes or sweet and savoury pancakes. The duck breast Emmental and rocket pancake is delicious, and our close second was the goat cheese honey and walnut with rocket. Good portion for €7. Another item on the menu well worth the try are the ciders. We tried all three and our favourite was absolutely the sweet cider. It was sweet but not too sweet, tasted like apples, and at €4 well worth a try. Worth noting this booth is super popular. Next up, we've got a brand new booth to the 2023 festival, the Bonbonniere or Bonbonniere. This is a brand new booth selling a selection of sweet treats. The chocolate coated strawberries are an absolute must try, as are the macarons. Next up we have the Savoy booth, again another returning booth from 2022. There are two items on this menu that I would say are must try: the tartiflette. If you like cheese and potatoes, you're going to be blown away. And the second is the raclette sandwich. We also tried all the wines at this booth, and they were fantastic. Now for another new booth, the Encase de Petit Faims, or Snacks for Little Hungers. This sells really fresh salads, lovely sandwiches, and it's great to see there's a vegan option there too. Last on our list of French booths, but by no means least, it's one of my favourites, the Bar A Vin, or the wine bar. This is another great booth that's returned to 2023. There's no new food items, and it's got the same great selection of wines from last year. This is another booth you can get champagne for €10 a glass. One booth we've lost from last year in the French region is the Eclair booth. They're still very cool, if a little underwhelming eclairs. If you have a craving for these, they do still sell one flavour of them in the Disneyland Paris park in the Cable Car Bake Shop. Let's continue our tour through the European booths. First up is a returning favourite, the Spanish booth. We noticed that the gazpacho soup from last year has gone and been replaced with the paella, though we didn't try it on this trip. One thing we did try and loved from this booth was the churros. These were crunchy, fresh, hot, and served with Nutella, a great light snack. Next up, another returning booth and a firm favourite is the Italy booth. The antipasti and panna cotta have gone from this year's menu and have been replaced with the chocolate bomboloni. There's been no change to the wines this year, though we did notice the pizza slices have gone up €1. They are pretty substantial though, so for €7 they are sharing. Next up, heading to the Greece booth. This is another returning booth and another one of my firm favourites. My must-have item on this menu is the gyros. Lovely fresh salad, gorgeous cooked chicken in a soft fresh pita. Now to a brand new booth which is super popular, the Asia booth. This sells a great selection of hot and cold items including tempura, sushi, and a really nice sweet and sour chicken. The sushi is the most expensive thing food-wise we found on the menu this year at €9, but it is for 4 pieces. And our final booth is the Belgium booth. Again, another returning booth from last year. There's no new items on the menu. The waffles are always really good from this booth, and we've also tried the French fries, which although nothing special, was a great light snack. We have lost a couple of booths from last year, so we've lost the gourmet vegan. The sandwich that was really popular is available at the Encase Petit Faims, or the Snacks for Little Hungers stand. The Portugal booth also hasn't returned this year, being replaced, at least in location, by the Asia booth. And finally, the Petit Déjeuner, or breakfast stand, hasn't returned this year. This mainly sold hot drinks and pastries, which you can get in other booths and in other parts of the park, so you're not losing anything. Overall, we love this event. It's a great way to try new items with plenty of choice, if you want to make this a dinner plan rather than, say, going for a traditional table service or quick service. Overall, we found the quality of the food and wine is great. The hot items are always hot and made fresh to order. This can mean there's a bit of a wait for some items, but the queues do move pretty quickly and the cast members are really efficient. One thing I think Paris has over Florida is the amount of seating and standing tables that are available. It's usually pretty easy to find somewhere to sit or somewhere to eat. For us, this event is an absolute must-try if you're in the parks whilst this is on. It started on the 2nd of June, and although no end date has been announced, it's likely going to finish around mid-October, which is the same date it did last year. Let's go on to a couple of tips and tricks. The first is wait times. If you want to avoid waiting in line or waiting in long lines, it can be a great idea to consider eating at slightly different times. So maybe go for lunch a little bit early or go for dinner a little bit late. Another tip is try and avoid going at the weekends for shorter wait. If you're in a group, it can be a great tactic to split up, get a few different items from a few different booths and all meet back. Most of the items are a pretty good size and pretty shareable too. Our next tip is to have a plan. If you're going for a few days, there is a lot of choice and you won't likely get to try everything, so have a look through the menus and pick your absolute must-eats before you go so you're not disappointed. Our last top tip is stay hydrated. There's a lot of great wines, beers and ciders to try, but don't forget to stay hydrated on those hot days. Most booths do sell water and there are bottle refill stations throughout the parks. Finally, onto a little bit of an assumption and something that I'm hoping that the parks are going to do in the future. As you know, the Studios parks are getting an expansion to bring frozen land around a large lake. My hope and my assumption is when that opens in hopefully 2024 and the lake's been filled, we might see the European booth spread out around that lake in a similar fashion to Epcot. As and when we hear anything on that, we'll let you know. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this content, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up and hit the notification button for more content. Thank you for watching, this is Adam, and until next time, just keep swimming.